Let's start by talking about how to hook up your system. The first thing you need to do is to connect power, and that's done by using this cable to the mixing console, to this mixing cart. This is what's called a PowerCon connector, power connector. It's based upon the Speak-On connectors. They're used in audio work, but in lighting and other instances it can be used for power. So it goes here, and it's a twist lock. Twist it in, put it in the plug, twist slightly, and you'll hear the lock as it locks into place. Now it's ready to power on the system, and you can flip the switch up at the top and the system will come on. In this case, it's still on from earlier, so everything is powering up and going through the startup sequence and processes, and it's all fine. The other two connectors you need to be aware of are here, LAN and DAN. LAN is a computer connection, local area network. Just like in the rest of the school building or in your home, if you have hardwired connections using Ethernet, that is a local area network. And so you have a special connector that goes in there. If you are using your iPad, that's the only time you're going to need this connector. Now notice it does look somewhat like a mic cable, but inside of it, it has an Ethernet connection. And it will just plug in to either of these ports, and again it clicks in, and you push the pin at the top to release, and it'll come out. Now again, you only need the LAN port if you're going to use your iPad for mixing. If you're not using your iPad, you don't need to connect the LAN port. You do, however, need to connect the Dante port. The Dante network, it sends audio signals across, again, an Ethernet cable, and allows your mixing console and microphones to communicate with the speaker system. Whether you're backstage or out in the house, the gym, you have a port in both of those places for LAN and for DAN, so you can connect to the appropriate networks. Again, you must have DAN connected. You do not necessarily have to have LAN connected unless you're mixing with your iPad, and we'll talk through that in another video. And then you have your two antenna connections. Those are BNC connectors. They will also twist lock in, and they go up to your antennas, sometimes in your mixing rack, in front of your mixing rack, on top of your mixing rack, or beside your mixing rack. You want them up as high as you can get them, so they're over the heads of the people in front of you. If you're mixing from the back of the house or the back of the gymnasium, you want those antennas up as high as you can get them. Because if there's people in the way, it could cause problems, especially with cell phones. Those antennas for your microphones are known as line of sight. If you can't see the actors, you have a greatly diminished audio signal coming into your wireless microphones. And that's your setup.